morning. This is October the 3rd, Tuesday, and we are in BBA, first year, section A English class. And in the previous class, that is yesterday, I guess we were talking about elements of a story. Can someone tell me what we were talking about yesterday? Remind me what we were talking about in yesterday's class.
We were talking about argumentative analysis, mainly elements, claim, reasons, also known as grounds.
Okay, and then?
Warrant and evidence.
That much only?
Yes, sir, and explanation part.
Did we move to next story?
No, sir.
No, okay. Sit down. So, yes, I remember I was trying to make you understand what is warrant. And I said it's difficult for me to make you understand, right? Did anyone Google about warrant? Did you try? Okay, no problem. So what we will do in this class is we will try to understand how we read a story. We have another text. A covered by Premchand, Munshi Premchand. So, as we read a story, what do we look for in stories is we begin with exposition or setting in which we look at the time that is being portrayed in the story and the place that is being portrayed in the story and the environment that is being portrayed in the story that we call setting. Where is this story taking place? For example, this story is taking place in a town in India. That is the place. When? So we can guess it should be 50s, 60s before, a time when Indian society was more conservative and believed in caste system, or even it can be even today. Then environment is difficult to figure out easily without reading. Environment means is how is the atmosphere in the world of the story, and I will show you gradually. Then we move on to, as we read the story, the first thing we do is we find, let's say, the narrator. Someone will be telling us a story. Who is telling us the story? Right? Then we have characters. People who say or do something in the story. Once we have characters, these people have dialogues. What people say or speak to one another. Once there are people having dialogue, there will be action. The activities in which people are involved in this story. And once people do activity, there will be plot development. How the story moves ahead. And when you talk about plot development, you can draw a figure like this. A story may have three phases. The normal phase, then here you have conflict, then here you have complication, then here you have crisis, then here you have resolution, and again you have normalcy. So every story can be said to have undergo these three phases. So we'll read this story quickly and try to understand these phases in this story. Let's read it. Okay, here we go. So let's begin by reading the introduction. You can follow as I read. The following story, a coward, published in 1933 by the Indian writer Prem Chand, focuses on a particular type of intra-cultural variation in India. Now let's make further notes. What is the theme of this story? So I write the caste system. The theme of this story is the caste system. And as the Nepalese society also has the caste system, so you usually understand we are categorized into different castes, and wrongly we assume that some castes are higher in the hierarchy and others are lower. We have this wrong conception. And its effect on people's lives. Look, caste system and then effect on people's lives. All right. Yesterday I came across a video on Facebook where it was presenting a brand called Chamar. It's an international fashion brand. And I read that this brand was established by one young man who comes from so-called lower caste, and he was discriminated in the village badly because of his caste. Then he came to Bombay, and then he gathered other people from his caste, and they began to make leather bags. And he gave this name Chamar. Chamar means one who works in leather section. And he named this product as Chamar. And today, this is an international product sold out around the world. And he has become a very rich person, right? So what impact the caste system has on people's lives. Prem Chand, a pseudonym of Dhanpat Rai. So Munshi Prem Chand is known popularly, and his real name is Dhanpat Rai, is considered one of the greatest writers of modern India. For example, if you want to read, he has written wonderful novels like Godan, Gaban, and many others. Okay, so this story has sections. There are sections. We begin with the first section. The boy's name was Kesav. Now we note down. First we come across Kesav. The girl's Prema. Now we know another. In the very first line we get introduced to the characters. Prema, we have Kesav and Prema. They went to the same college and they were in the same class. Here now we know. Place, let's say college. Keshav believed in new ways and was opposed to the old caste system. Now, when you note characters, you should also note the belief system. So, Keshav believed in new ways, okay. Believed in new ways, was opposed to old caste system. Prema adhered to the old order and fully accepted the traditions. Look, Prema followed old system, just opposite. Let me switch off this light. But all the same, there was a strong attachment between them. Though they are opposite, you see there is strong attachment between them. Okay, it's natural. When you come to college, you fall in love. Between them, and the whole college was aware of it. Although he was a Brahmin, note down, look the theme, caste system. He was a Brahmin. Keshav regarded marriage with this Bania girl. Now Prema was a Bania girl. In Nepal you have Bania. Newar people have Bania, I think. Even non-Newars have this Bania caste, I'm not sure. In India, Bania is a merchant section, merchant class that does business. Caste traditions he considered a fraud. So what did Keshav say? Keshav thought that caste system, look how we read, we go on, we are analyzing the story. Fraud. If anything embodied the truth for Keshav, it was Prema. But for Prema, it was impossible to take one step in opposition to the dictates of caste and family. Look, could not go against caste system and family. So we have the situation now. The opening paragraph, first paragraph introduces us the major characters. It tells the location, place, and we know the theme that there is a couple in college and that is in love. So do you see the story begins in a normal way. See the normalcy. Two boys in college, but right here we have the seed of conflict. What is the seed of conflict? Caste. The boy is Brahmin and the girl is Banya. One evening, the two of them met in a secluded corner of Victoria Park. So where do you meet? Where do you date? You date in the parks, right? It's very natural. Huh? Secluded means alone or separate, away from the crowd. One evening, the two of them met in a secluded corner of Victoria Park and sat down on the grass facing one another. The strollers had gone off one by one, but these two lingered in the park. They had got into a discussion it was impossible to end. Very natural. I told you yesterday, how a boy and girl at my home park was having the same situation. Keshav said angrily, now dialogue. In a story you have dialogue. Here. Keshav said angrily, all it means is that you don't care about me. Look, important dialogue. What Keshav says? You don't. He accuses Prema. Prema tried to calm him down. You are being unjust to me, Keshav. It's only that I don't know how I can bring this matter up at home without upsetting my parents. They are devoted to the old traditions. If they hear anything about a matter like this intercaste love affair from me, can't you imagine how distressed my parents will be? So the girl is worried about the parents and she's not able to tell the parents. And aren't you a slave of those old traditions too then? Now look, Keshav says, oh, you are the slave of old traditions. Asked her sharply. No, I am not. Prema said, her eyes tender. But what my mother and father want is more important to me than anything. Look, the girl says, what does Prema say? Prema says, father and mother are more important than anything. And you yourself don't count at all. Then Keshav says, you have no value, only your parents are important. If that is how you want to understand it, I used to think those old ways were just for silly hypocrites. But now it seems that educated girls like you knuckle under them too. What are the old silly ways? Caste system. Since I am ready to give up everything for you, the boy says, I expect the same from you. I can give up my father and mother for you, so you should also give up your father and mother for me. Chalo bhag chalne purab ki or. In Bollywood movie you see listen to these songs na. Kahin pyar hamara chori na karne paschim ke ye chor. There is a song, beautiful song. I don't know the movie. I don't know. Young boys and girls fall in love, and parents don't allow. The society, then they run away, and they sing this song. चलो भाग चलें कहीं पूरब की ओर प्यार हमारा चोरी ना कर लें पश्चिम के ये चोर. Right? Okay. What's O there? Right? There's nothing O. Okay, let's move ahead. I used to think those old ways were just for the silly hypocrites, but now it seems that educated girls like you knuckle under them too. What is knuckle under? Knuckle under, give in or submit to something, to surrender. Okay. Since I am ready to give up everything for you, I expect the same thing from you. Now next paragraph. In silence, Prema wondered what authority she had over her own life. This is a very remarkable line. When you talk about theme, it also shows girls have no authority over their own life. How do you spell girls? Okay, leave it. These days I'm beginning to forget even simple spellings. I don't know if I'm going to have dementia soon. Okay, I'm very forgetful. Okay. She had no right, look, this is a very important line. What authority she had over her own life. In Nepali society, Indian society, many times people think that girls don't have any authority over their life. It is parents who decide everything. She had no right to go in any way against the mother and father who had created her from their own blood and reared her with love. Now this is remarkable. I am a father and I have a 29-year-old daughter, right? Now this is, when I read this line in class, I have difficult time because the writer here is speaking as if girls should be given, daughters should be given all the right, and parents should not interfere. But when I read this line, I am a father, and I read this line from a father's perspective, and I don't agree with this line. You may have other way of thinking with your daughter. So we have perspectives. I'm not only your teacher, I'm also the father of a 29-year-old daughter. To Keshav, she said humbly, can love be considered only in terms of husband and wife and not friendship? Now see here, what is Prema saying? Prema is saying that there can be platonic love. When Keshav is insisting to get married. Keshav says, let's get married soon. Tell your parents, disclose this thing. Why are you hiding from parents? And Prema says that it's impossible for me to tell my parents that I'm in love with a Brahmin boy. Because my parents believe in caste system. And then she says, can't we love each other without getting married? So here comes a debate for you to think. What is love? One answer comes, love is culmination in sex. You get married, you have sex, get children. Body. Another is, love is not about the body. Love is about the soul. When you love someone, you don't need the body. And you can debate. Can love be considered only in terms of husband and wife and not friendship? See, Prema says that we can be friends just. Why do we need to be husband and wife? I think of love as an attachment of the soul. So do you see this character Prema? She is a Platonist. Plato said that reality is not in the body. Reality is in the idea. So Prema believes in the idea of love rather than the body for love. So she says we can attach our souls rather than attaching the body, and nobody has seen the soul. So when you say you can love someone's soul, you are believing in Plato's ideas. What are Plato's ideas? Plato's ideas are that this world is false. The physical, material world is false. What is true reality? The invisible ideas are true reality. For Plato, the body is false. The soul is true for Plato. So when you say that we can love the soul and not the body, you are being Platonist. So Prema has this ideal love. Prema is idealist. Keshav is realist. Keshav goes with the body. Prema goes with the soul. You will drive me crazy with your rationalizations, Keshav says. Keshav said harshly. Look, how did he speak? Harshly. Just understand this. Now Keshav is very angry, just like yesterday morning's boy in the garden where he was shouting at 2 p.m. 2 a.m. If I am disappointed, I can't go on living. I am a materialist, and it's not possible for me to be satisfied with some intangible happiness in the world of the imagination. So Keshav says, if I don't get you, I'll commit suicide. Understand? Keshav says, I'm a materialist. I believe in the body. I don't believe in your soul. Soul is imagination. So Keshav is giving dhamki. This is what the boys do. This is what the boys do. When they think they are not going to, when they think they don't get the girl, they say, I'll commit suicide. Boys may be angry with me. You keep thinking. Okay. Then, further, if she had spoken harshly, he would not have been so hurt. For an instant, he restrained himself. Then, he caught Prema's hand and tried to draw her towards him. A very exciting scene. But she broke away and said, I told you I am not free. The girl says, I cannot say yes to you because My marriage, my love, my life, my future will be decided by my parents. But she broke away and said, I told you, I am not free. Don't ask me to do something I have no right to do. This is a very touchy line. And whenever I read this line, I feel angry with the writer. When Prema says, I have no right to do, I feel like if Prema was my daughter, then I'll think Prema is wrong. Why should Prema say, I have no right to do? Parents never go against their children, but children often go against their parents and they revolt.
But like when they don't understand, they go.
Parents understand, but it is the responsibility of the children to convince their parents. And I have found that children do not try to convince the parents, rather they revolt against the parents. Right? Just imagine, place yourself in place of your mother, father. You give birth to your child, you raise her day by day. Children are not raised without any effort. You sacrifice so many things for them. Then you have attachment with children. You love your children. Then if you love your children and if you love your parents, you should be able to convince your parents about what you're doing. But what is done here? So the question is, the debate in this story is the relation between parents and children. And here the daughter is saying that I have no right to decide about my life, whom I love. I love Kesav. Kesav is Brahmin. I am Banya. My parents believe in caste system. My parents are Banya people. Now if I tell my Banya parents that I love a Brahmin boy, they will just oppose me. So I have no right. So in a sense, the story is presenting the problem caused by caste system. If she had spoken harshly, he would not have been so hurt. For an instant, he restrained himself. Then he stood up and said sadly, just as you wish. Final decision, he said. Kesav says, final. From today, we are broken. Just as you wish, and slowly walked away. Prema, in tears, continued to sit there. Kesav left the park, saying that just as you wish. If you can't marry me, go with your parents. I am no more for you. See, this is what the boys and girls do, young people in the park. They fight and quarrel like this. And next hour they come back. Right? See, scene 1, section 1. We have this is a story in the form of play, let's say, kind of play. And we are moving to scene 2. So scene 1 opens at the park. We see Kesav and Prema. They are talking about love affair and internal